anyone who's ever spoken to me might have been annoyed by the amount of questions I have. I ask probably far too many questions. And the reason being is I want to know what your clients' hopes and dreams are.
With MediaTree, recipients receive one gift card with hundreds of options covering shopping, dining, and entertainment, so everyone finds something they love. Make gifting easy and impactful while helping your clients foster appreciation. Contact us today to turn gifting into your next growth opportunity.
Hey there, and welcome to a brand new episode of Delivering Marketing Joy. I am your host, Kirby Hassman, and joining me today is a brand new rock star. Super excited to chat with him today. He's a general manager over at MediaTree, Brian Duran. Thanks so much for joining me, bud.
Yeah, happy to be here.
Absolutely. So obviously Brian and I have known each other for quite a few years, but it's going to be fun to dig into the conversation today. So when it comes to success in business, everyone's chasing new customers, and I think that's great, right? But I think sometimes we miss the boat by not focusing enough on keeping the ones we already have. So how do we work? I think one of the ways to do that is increase customer loyalty. So how do we do that? How do we increase customer loyalty?
Yeah, I think for me, the secret sauce is appreciation, right?
Yeah,
You think of companies like Chick-fil-A. They are going after, they're competing with McDonald's, Burger King, companies that you've been around for a long time, and they're only open 6 days a week.
Yeah.
And you always hear the same thing. There's kindness. Everyone's happy when you're there. But if you think about the logical steps they take to get to that point, like you'll never find a Chick-fil-A crammed in an intersection. They have a rule. The parking lot space needs to be at least 2 or 3 times the occupancy space of the store itself.
Okay.
The reason they do that is they want a big parking lot. So if there's a long line for the drive-thru, you're safely in the parking lot and not on the road. And what they're doing is they're taking a moment where it's not just about the kindness, the empathy behind it, but the appreciation. They value you. They value your life. They don't want you on this highway. They don't want you in this busy intersection. They want you safely in their space, right? So a lot of times the way companies can really keep or retain customers is simply by appreciating them. And it goes a long way. Appreciation is recognition of value, recognition of where they are at that point of the sale, wherever it may be. Right. So we have a lot of clients who reach out to us. One, for example, is recently someone reached out. The client was for banking, right? So the distributor reached out. This banking client wanted to appreciate their customers, but also wanted to get them in the doors to talk about, opening up or refinancing mortgage or opening up a new account, something to activate the customer.
Yeah.
But also you want to provide loyalty to the customers you already have.
Yeah.
The initial thought was, hey, let's get them like a Starbucks gift card. They can grab a coffee after they talk, etc. And anyone who's ever spoken to me might have been annoyed by the amount of questions I have. I ask probably far too many questions. And the reason being is I want to know what your clients' hopes and dreams are. What are they trying to accomplish? What do they want to emotionally happen during this process for their customers or recipients, whoever it may be? So my pitch to them was, hey, we have this option that is a coffee break gift card. So it goes beyond just Starbucks gift cards. The recipient can choose Dunkin', they can choose Panera, something that they can select themselves, right? You're appreciating them, you're valuing their ability to choose on their own. If I were to get a Starbucks gift card, I'd probably give it to a colleague or my wife or something. I'm a Dunkin' Donuts fan. You might have lost half your audience there. Sorry. I'm with you. Dunkin' over Starbucks, right?
Yeah.
And if you think about where you're providing that in the point of sale, my option was, instead of doing it after post meeting, do it before the meeting. They sign up, right? They book an appointment on the bank's website to meet with someone like a teller or whoever it is at the bank. Get them a gift card ahead of time. Let them grab that coffee on their way there. So when you have them in that room, you already know that you kind of have their trust because they already have your other products. They're now holding their favorite treat in their hands. You've got their ear, right? So you've appreciated them. You've provided loyalty to who they are. And now you have the opportunity to grow that even further. So I think appreciation, really, I mean, it's something that we take in as like a core value here.
Yeah.
And, beyond just providing that to your customers, you need to provide that to your employees as well.
Yeah.
Because if your employees aren't feeling appreciated, when they get on that phone with that customer, that's not going to translate.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and I like the idea of the giving it in advance too, because the rule of reciprocity does kick in, right? So I like that. Okay, well, that's cool. So, what are some mistakes you see organizations make when they are telling their story, whether they're talking to new customers or existing?
I think it's really speaking to the correct audience, right? So all of us have a wish list of customers we want, and they're these large customers, enterprise, whatever it may be. So our websites reflect that. We're the leading so-and-so for enterprise clients, right? We're trying to fish for those. But if you take a step back and look at who you're doing business with, maybe 90% of your clients are small businesses, medium-sized businesses who still rely on what you are providing.
Right.
So when you're out there telling your story, pitching your product, whatever it may be, make sure you're speaking to the right audience at the right time, because you might be talking to this audience full of small businesses and you said way too many buzzwords about enterprise and scalable and this and that. And all of a sudden they're starting to lose that trust, again, kind of goes back to the emotion, right? Like you don't know what you're doing emotionally to them. They might start having this thought in the back of their head, we're too small for them. They're not going to help us anymore. And then next thing you know, they stop ordering, they're going somewhere else. And I'm not saying you shouldn't go after those large customers, of course, but you need to pay attention to who you're speaking to when you're telling your story out there.
I couldn't agree more, Brian. I think that is one of the foundational mistakes, regardless of industry, is that identifying exactly, because again, they show up in different places. They have different problems, all that sort of thing. So I think that's a great advice. So let's talk about launching. Obviously we want to keep the customers we get, but every once in a while we're going to come out with a new product and we want to launch that product successfully. So what are some cool ways that you've seen companies improve like new product launches?
Yeah, great question. I think the most effective I've seen so far is implementing a referral program along with that product launch.
Okay.
Right. So you have a new product, you have to teach people about this product. One of the best things about new products and getting customers on board early is they become champions, right? Whenever someone finds this product first, they're excited about it. Some people gatekeep it and they're like, I'm not telling any of my friends about this. But a lot of people are like, check out this cool new thing. Yeah. And if you can incentivize that person to be like, hey, if your friend buys this product or signs up for this service or whatever it may be, we'll give you some sort of gift if you do so. It's all the more reason to tell your friend, hey, you should try this out. Especially if the referral goes both ways, if you and your friend receive some sort of gift. So at that point, it's like, hey, sign up for this thing right now. I swear it's going to make your life so much easier. Or this product's great. It's exactly what I need. If you sign up for it right now, or if I sign up for it right now, we'll both get this, say a $25 gift card or some sort of branded merch that, it was reflective to your lifestyle. Another way I've seen it played out a lot is, thought just slipped my mind.
No, it's good.
Driving traffic, right? So driving traffic to your website or to a demo. So if you have a product that is a little bit harder to explain, right? You show a hat, it's a hat. Mm-hmm. But if you're selling some sort of service and it's a marketing service or something like that, it might be harder to really pitch the idea, right? You need that time to give someone the elevator pitch. Mm-hmm. This day and age, everyone's too busy, right? They're like, I don't want to watch this video. I'm not going to answer this phone call. That email's too long. So if you can incentivize them to, hey, take a minute. We'll give you some sort of gift. You're appreciating them. We'll give you something and just take a moment, learn about this. And it's a great way to bring people to your website, kind of bring them into your web. So even if they don't sign up or buy right away, you've collected some information on them. And you can go ahead and then nurture market, whatever it may be, whatever your marketing plan is. You'll have that data at that point. But some sort of gift, a gift card, is a great way to incentivize someone to provide that information to you and for you to give information about your product to them.
Yeah, and I love the idea of doing the referral during the launch. I hadn't thought about that. I think that's really cool because, that's when people are most excited about it. And so they want to share because it's new and they feel like it puts them on the cutting edge. And so I think that's a really good idea, Brian. That's really cool.
Yeah. I mean, and I feel like referrals are not new, everyone does it, but it's always the thing that like you're using to fix, right? You're like, oh, sales are down. You know what? We should try a referral. But you doing it ahead of time, doing with the product launch can really ramp things up.
All right. Final question for you, Brian. This has been great. What is another company or creator that you see in the world that's doing good work that you are impressed with, and why?
This is going to sound maybe silly. The company is OpenAI, which is the brains behind ChatGPT and a lot of all this AI initiatives that are out there. You remove all the politics behind leadership there, and is it good? Is it bad? Is it scary? Whatever it may be. I think that we are in this very interesting precipice of life-changing products, right?
For sure.
You think of the release of the internet decades ago. Who would have thought that we would be on a podcast, face away, video conferencing here? I'm sure you have tech in front of you. I got tech in front of me. Who knew that when the internet was invented, this was going to be a possibility, except for the guy who wrote Jetsons, right? And then the invention of the cell phone. Who knew that was going to become this like super computer in your pocket where you can control all the smart devices in your home connected to Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, whatever any of that stuff means. I think this like new movement of AI that's coming out is one of those things where you've no idea where it's going to be like in 10 years, and it's going to be a complete change. And OpenAI being one of the cutting edge companies behind it, I follow them along, especially in marketing, right? If you think about, not them directly, but if you think about Google, right? So everyone wants to advertise on Google. And if you're thinking about merch and someone's looking for a blue hat, back in the day, it was like, well, you got to have the keywords blue hat. And you're like, well, how are people searching? I don't know how many marketing classes are spent just being like, how do people search things? And it's like, well, maybe they're looking for blue hats, bulk, fast turnaround. And now you have to collect those keywords. Do all this work with Google Ads to make sure you have the right words, the right campaigns, all this stuff, just to find that customer who's looking for what you're selling. With AI, Google just kind of wiped all that stuff out. And they were like, well, are you with an authority? Is your website easy enough for people to find this blue hat? Are people staying on your website long enough? And if they are, I'll bring you right up. Obviously you're going to have to pay a little bit, but you're going to move right up in this whole thing. And there's a feedback loop. And all this is happening with Google's AI. And this is what's affecting marketing now. So to what's going to happen in the future, I don't know, but I think it's a good thing, right? I feel like I always complain about how my phone's listening to me and, whatever, searching, following my search history and all that stuff. But I found me and my wife's anniversary gift because an ad got served up to me because I was Googling for your anniversary gift ideas, right? And I found it popped up on my social media feed. And a lot of that's driven by algorithms. AI is going to take a huge play in how we search, how things are marketed to us. So I think ultimately it's a good thing. I think we're going to spend less time searching and trying to scratch our heads about things. And if we lean into it and we kind of figure out how to use it, that's another thing, right? It's like we're all in the same place. Marketing has just kind of, it blew up. We're all starting in the same place. You might have 25 years of experience. I might have 10 years of experience. The next guy might have 1. With AI, we all have 0. We're all learning. We're all trying to figure out how do you make customer service better? How do you market to people better? All using these tools that are brand new that are still month by month kind of trickling out. So I think it's good. I think it's exciting. I think it's amazing to see what is being created by companies like OpenAI and all these other developments that are coming out on the AI side of things.
That's cool, man. Yeah, I agree. We are living through a super interesting, exhilarating time. And I think that it's funny, tomorrow, as we're recording this, tomorrow morning, I'm giving a talk to our local chamber about AI. And I'm like, I don't feel like I'm an expert on it at all.
I think we all are.
Yeah, that's right. I think to your point, we're learning it together. So, man, I appreciate you taking the time, Brian. Where can folks find out a little bit more information about you, whether it's a website or social media?
Yeah, website's the best thing. So www.mediatreerewards.com. You can look me up on LinkedIn as well. I'm always trying to post some ideas out there on, how to drive customer loyalty, different ways you can do that. I try to give tips on even writing emails, things like that. So you can follow me on LinkedIn. I'm always trying to help out. And you can always shoot me a message as well.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, Brian. This has been fun. We'll have to do it again sometime, okay?
Yeah, would love to.
All right. Well, that's going to wrap up this edition of Delivering Marketing Joy. We'll see you next time.